As traders, technical analysis is one of the most important tools that we use to help us take advantage of moves in the financial markets. So in this video, I'm going to be explaining how to mark up your charts like a pro trader. It's going to be very beginner friendly and easy to understand. Okay, so let's go to the charts. We have this term called top-down analysis. So what it basically means is you're marking up your charts from the higher time frames to the lower time frames. So I'm going to use AUDUSD as the example for our top-down analysis right now. Okay. First things first, I'm going to be deleting everything I have on here. So we have a plain chart. We're going to start on the weekly time frame, right? This is the weekly time frame. We're going to start on the weekly time frame. So starting here, what we're doing is we're identifying, first things first, the trend of the market. Okay, we're trying to identify what exactly it is that the market is doing right now. Now, when we're doing our top-down analysis, we have no business going up here. Okay, we have to look at price in this very moment, which is right here. So what we see here, today is Sunday, right? So we're starting a new week in a couple of hours. Right now, the weekly candle for last week was super bullish, and it pretty much is the same size as the body of the candle for last week. That's what we see here on the weekly time frame. Now, if we go down to the daily time frame, we see that the last few days have been super bullish as well. Okay. Now, you would notice that the price action happening right now is a bit different from what has been happening before, and that's because of the tariff situation in the US. We have a lot of upward momentum happening right now. Next thing we have to do is, after identifying what's happening, then we have to identify our zones, right? The zones that are most important to us. Now, the easiest way to do that is you click on your horizontal tool, okay, and you begin to slide that down, and you try to identify as many touches as possible. Okay, let's identify as many touches as possible. That would be the easiest way to do it. Okay, so we have one touch over there. Next stop, we have down here. Okay, we have a few touches down here. Okay, and then I would also say down here as well. Okay, so now going down to the 4-hour time frame, we now have to analyze, okay, again, what the trend is and what our zones are and potential moves that could happen. Okay, one way to simplify your ability to identify the market trends would be to use the path tool. Okay, if you select the path tool and you use it to basically trace out price movements that you're trying to analyze, so that's a way to identify potential structure. Okay, and now we've just really had some upward momentum. So this is what we can see. So what we can see here is price basically broke structure at this point and then went on an upward situation. Now the next question is, what exactly is going to happen next, right? Now there's a lot of fundamentals in play right now in this very moment, just because of the tariff back and forth between countries. So we have to put that into consideration. However, regarding our price action here on the 4-hour time frame, price has the potential to continue to the upside, right? Breaking the structure and officially declaring the uptrend to be super clear on this pair, AUD-USD. So personally, I would actually wait for price to break above this zone, okay, to indicate that it's going to continue to the upside. Because right now, this super bearish candle that broke the previous structure has not been totally engulfed just yet, indicating that it could potentially continue downwards as well. So if I were going to trade this pair, what I would look for would be either a break of structure to the downside, right, for price to continue downwards, so something like this. So I would want price to go down, retest, and continue going down. So at the retest is when I would enter to go short. That's the short option. And then in order to go long, I would wait for price to break this previous zone as well break and retest, right? Because remember, no retest, no entry. So break, retest to continue to the upside. That's what I would be waiting for. So let's actually do this on another pair. So this right here is EURUSD. EURUSD. So of course, we're using our top-down analysis, right? So starting on the weekly time frame, what I can see here is price is clearly bullish, right? And how do I know that? I know that because of the structure that is forming. So if I get on my path 2 and I start to draw, right? So you can see price went down, went up, went down again, and then it basically struggled for a period of time, and then it broke structure, right, to this point, retested, and now it's all the way up there. So that's how I know that price is clearly in an uptrend. So next thing is I will try to identify any zones that may be obvious on the weekly time frame. So I can clearly see a zone up here, right? We have 1 touch, 2 touch, 3, 4, and 5. So I have the zone marked out here. So I'm going to go down to the daily time frame to basically do the exact same thing I just did. So on the daily time frame, again, price is going to the upside, and I'm going to mark out potential zones, right? Regarding the current price action that is happening, I can see a zone here because price struggled here before it broke, and then I can see another zone here because price broke, retested, and then continued to the upside. Okay, so now we go down to the 4-hour time frame, right, to fine-tune our zones. On 4-hour time frame, I like to fine-tune my zones. And how I do that is I go down to the rectangle tool and I basically draw out the zones that I marked out. So here I have the 4-hour zone. We have a point of resistance here, and then price broke above it. So what we have identified here is price is in an uptrend. Okay, the weekly time frame is bullish, the daily time frame is bullish, 4-hour time frame is bullish, right? So we should expect price to continue bullish. Okay, but the question is, where is price going to continue bullish from, right? So that's why we actually had to mark out our zones, right? Because we should anticipate for a pullback. So I'll be anticipating for price to come back to this zone that I drew out here to continue upwards, or if it wants to do a deeper retracement, it would come down to this second zone here to continue to the upside. So simple top-down analysis. And if you go down to the daily time frame, you would see that it totally makes sense, right? For price to actually come back to retest before it continues to the upside, because price literally did that same thing when it was switching from bullish to bearish over here. So over here, we saw that we also had this exact same zone marked out here, right? Because price basically struggled in this zone, finally broke out, and so on. So when it was selling, it came back to retest this zone to continue downwards. So I'm basically expecting something like that to happen, but in the buyer's direction, right? So that's basically how you do your simple top-down analysis to identify simple moves to take advantage of in markets. For example, I got into a buy position on this particular pair, right? On, I believe, Thursday or Wednesday. This is my actual markup right here. Okay, it's a bit more detailed, but basically the exact same thing. So this particular move here, the move that I caught is basically just a simple break and retest of this particular zone that price broke out of, came back to retest, played around for a bit. I got in on the retracement, and then we went to the upside. So I hope that video was helpful. That's just a simple way to analyze your charts in order to take advantage of moves in the market. So I'll see you guys in my next video.